Welcome to Rocky Broad Solar, where we're harnessing the sun from the shadows of Appalachia. On today's episode, we're going to go over the EG4 12000XP V2 inverter and how it is not just your typical off-grid inverter. This is a complete energy independence system for your home, whether you're off-grid or whether you're just a standard residential home tied to the utility grid. In this video, I'll break down everything you need to know from whole home backup power to partial home backup power, generator integration options, smart load control, AC coupling, maybe an existing grid-tied system into the batteries to provide off-grid backup power capabilities, and really just how this inverter bridges the gap between off-grid and grid-tied security. My name's Graham from Rocky Broad Solar. Let's get into it. So what would you do if the grid went down today, tomorrow, for 3 days, for a week? What if the grid went down for a month? Most people are just one bad storm away from no refrigerator, no lights, no outlets, no internet, no running water. And if you've got a standard grid-tied solar system, guess what? You're out of luck too. A standard grid-tied solar system without battery backup is just going to shut down with the utility grid, leaving your solar panels useless in that utility outage. So first, let's set the stage. The EG4 12000XP is an all-in-one 48-volt off-grid inverter. It combines several different aspects all into one enclosure. That's your DC inputs, your DC to AC conversion. That's your generator integration. That's your smart loads. That is the grid input. That is feeding the backup loads panel. So for people that are trying to do this on their own, that really simplifies the installation and reduces complexity. So this inverter has up to 12,000 watts AC output when you're only running on the batteries and the sun is not shining. But when the sun is shining on your solar panels, you have both solar and battery to draw from, you have up to 15,000 watts AC. Now this is whole home backup for most American households. I mean, this is running your refrigerators, your freezers, your well pump, all your lights and outlets, maybe an EV charger or your HVAC system. Although most households run on a 200 amp service, you can really cram a lot of loads into a 100 amp critical loads panel. It accepts up to 24,000 watts of solar panels into the DC inputs. That's up to 12,000 watts per maximum power point tracker. So you can have two separate arrays facing different directions or in different conditions, both bringing up to 12,000 watts down into those maximum power point trackers into your solar DC inputs. Each input has up to 480 volts DC, which really gives you the ability to string up lots of solar panels in series and reduce the wire sizes and the wire runs from the solar panels to your inverter, which really is going to save you a lot on cost and complexity when you're installing this system yourself. So this inverter is UL listed, which means you can get it permitted and inspected in most jurisdictions. On top of that is UL 9540A listed when paired with the EG4 indoor wall mount battery. Now, for a lot of areas, that UL 9540A listing doesn't matter, but in areas prone to wildfires or in just certain locations where your local inspector is strict, they want that UL 9540A listing. And that listing can only be obtained with a full system. So that is the inverter and the battery paired together, run through testing to confirm that the entire system is safe, is not going to cause a fire. So if you're in areas like LA County, there's a lot of areas in the Northeast picking up on the UL 9540A listing, Texas, people are slowly adopting this throughout the country. You always have to reach out to your local inspector department to see if that's what they're looking for. But it's just good to know that that is an option when paired with that indoor wall mount battery if needed. So this is where most people really get confused, right? Most people hear off-grid inverter and they picture somebody out in a cabin out in the woods with no grid. Maybe you're on a houseboat or something of that nature. And really, yes, this inverter can be used for that scenario. It is an off-grid capable inverter, but it can also just be tied in to the grid in your standard residential American home. So the big difference here is off-grid inverters cannot backfeed to the grid. They are not grid interactive. It can use some grid power to charge the batteries when needed, but is incapable of backfeeding power to the grid. Now this comes with some pros and this comes with some cons. The pros to that are you don't need a utility interconnection agreement. Right? If you are in parallel with the grid and it's capable of backfeeding to the grid, well, most places you're going to have to get that interconnection agreement. You're going to have to go through that process of applying, paying the fees, getting on a different metering plan, and all of that. Now, if it's an off-grid inverter, it's incapable of interacting with the grid like that, well, it's none of the utility's business what you do inside of your home. As long as you're not going to affect their grid, it's really no different than just installing a standby generator at your house. So in my opinion, that's a big benefit. In a lot of areas right now, California was kind of the leader there in just killing net metering to where it really no longer makes sense to send power back to the grid for credits. And many areas of the country are kind of adopting that and following in their footsteps. You're seeing net metering plans getting phased out throughout the country where it makes less and less sense to really sell your power back to the grid. And so, hey, and a lot of times it really doesn't even make sense to get an interconnection agreement anymore. You're just going to be putting on a less preferred metering plan. They're not going to give you full residential credits for the power you send them. You're going to have to deal with all the bureaucracy and paying the fees. And so that's where these off-grid inverters are really coming up as a good alternative to your standard hybrid grid-tied systems, right? It's like if you don't need an interconnection agreement and if you're not really getting credit for power you're getting sent back to the grid, well then what's the point? Why not just get an off-grid inverter and call it a day? So the way this works is it has a grid bypass, right? You hook up the 12000 XP to the grid. It can pull up to 100 amps through the inverter and send it to the backup panel. It also has the ability to disconnect from the grid and run off of solar and batteries. And so what it'll do is it'll run off of solar and batteries, depending on how you program the system, depending on your specific needs. But say for me, I'll run it and maximize self-consumption. During the day, if we've got solar and I got batteries, it's going to run from that and run all my backup loads, which in turn save power on your utility bill. In the event that you just don't have enough juice left in the battery bank or from the solar, it can disconnect from that and instead bypass grid power through the system to your backup panel. And so it's kind of the best of both worlds in that regards. So you can also just tie it to a battery only and set it up to offset time of use rates. So in a lot of areas, maybe your utility is charging you a lot more for power during specific times of day than others. You can program the system to charge up that battery bank and instead use that power when time of use rates are high in the evenings rather than using that expensive utility power. So this is one of the features that I think is the most underrated is the EG4 12000 XP comes with one smart load port. And anybody that watches my channel knows that I just love smart loads and smart circuits. That's why I just love the EG4 ecosystem as well as systems like Franklin Whole Home. All right, so here's how it works. The 12000 XP has one single smart load port. So essentially it has two AC outputs. One AC output is that 100 amp pass through to the critical loads panel. Now that AC output is always on. If there's power to the inverter or if there's solar and batteries, that is your critical loads. Those loads are always on. That's where you're gonna just put all your generic stuff in your home. And then there's the smart port. Now this one's programmable. So you can program it and say, hey, once my battery bank reaches 50% depth of discharge, let's go ahead and turn that large load off and save the rest of our bank for these more critical loads. So you could, stick something like your air conditioning in there, your EV charger, a heating system, a water heater, whatever the case may be, that can kind of sort of set it and forget it. And that way, during an outage, you have, all of your loads backed up, but once your battery kind of gets drained down, it'll kind of shed that load and it'll save your battery power for those more critical loads to make sure you can really get through an extended utility outage without draining your battery bank out. So another option for that smart port is if you have existing solar. Maybe you're a homeowner that bought solar 5 or 10 years ago and you didn't really care about batteries back then, or maybe they were just too expensive. And you've got one of these kind of grid-tied systems that just runs during the day and sends power back to the grid for credits. Well, when the power goes out, that system turns off and you're stuck sitting there in the dark. Now, what you can instead do is take that system now, land it in that smart port on the inverter, and that's what's called AC coupling. And so it can just take the output of that inverter and it can send that power to the battery bank or to your home loads, again, rather than sending it to the grid anymore. So with this inverter, you kind of have two options for standby generator integration. One, if you've got a large whole home style generator that produces nice clean power, you can tie that directly into the inverter, into the generator inputs built into the system itself. For those of you that might have a cheap portable standby generator that has dirty power, most do if you're kind of under that kind of $1,000 threshold for a standby generator, you generally don't want to tie something like that directly into your home with sensitive electronics or large loads. What happens when those generators get overloaded is they kind of have voltage fluctuations and they kind of send this dirty power into your home, which can cause damage. So what you want to do in that case is, rather than tying it into the generator port, you want to get yourself an EG4 charge inverter. You're going to tie the generator into the charge inverter. That charge inverter is going to clean up that power and it's going to turn it into DC current that goes directly into your batteries rather than into your home. And that'll just kind of protect your investment from that dirty generator power. So the benefits of generator integration, right? If you're in an extended outage and you kind of, maybe it's a snowstorm and your panels are covered in snow, or it's, you know, a hurricane and it's just raining for days and there's really not a lot of solar coming in. Being able to integrate a generator into this kind of system really, reduces the chance that you're going to run out of juice when you really need it. And so the difference here is that generator, instead of just running on generator power and having it burning fuel all day, when you don't necessarily need all of that power, you can start up your generator. It's going to charge your battery bank back up to full, and then it's going to cut off. And what that's going to do is going to prolong the amount of runtime you have. It's going to save your fuel, and it's, you're not going to have to deal with the noise. Your neighbors aren't going to have to listen to the noise of a generator all day. And so it's really just going to make the use of that fuel much more efficient and add more energy independence to your home. So the inverter's got built-in Wi-Fi with your little Wi-Fi dongle, so you can have it communicating to the web. You can get a little EG4 app to monitor and control your system, both on a desktop or from your mobile phone. It's got closed loop communications with massive list of batteries, and what that does is it has the batteries in the inverter talking to each other and giving real information to make sure that you're really prolonging the lifespan of that battery bank and really monitoring it in a smart way. Now, that open loop communication, right, that's just your inverter's measuring voltage, and that's all it really knows. But that closed loop communication, that's really what you want in a system to make sure everything functions well together and you prolong the lifespan of your batteries. Another thing is this inverter is scalable, right? Maybe you've got a 200 amp service and a lot of large loads and you want to back up your whole home. Well, you can take two of these inverters with a couple combiner panels and combine them all into one system. This is called paralleling. And that way, maybe you could have two inverters parallel together, back up an entire 200 amp service with lots of large loads if you need it. So one downside to this inverter is it's an indoor inverter only. It is not rated to be mounted outside in humid or wet conditions. You're right, you're going to want this in a conditioned or at least in a dry area where it's not prone to moisture and a lot of bugs and dust. The inverter is kind of loud. The fans on EG4 inverters are just kind of loud. I'd say really, I love EG4. I love everything about their brand, about their mission, about their components. But their inverters are loud, and that's really just the fans in them when they're really pulling in a lot of juice or putting out a lot of juice, those fans kick on, they can be kind of loud. So you really want to just kind of make sure you're keeping this inverter somewhere where it's out of the way and out of earshot, like a garage or an unfinished basement or a utility room where that noise isn't really going to be bothering you during the day. So as everyone knows here, energy independence isn't just a talking point anymore. We all know that utility outages are increasing at a rate never seen before. We've got wildfires going on. We've got rolling blackouts. We've got weather patterns and storms getting more severe. Here in Western North Carolina, we just went through Hurricane Helene a couple of years ago, which really opened, I think, a lot of people's eyes around here to what a storm really can do to infrastructure and how long it can really take to repair. Even after a couple of years, we're nowhere even near cleaning up from the wreckage of this storm. With AI coming, we all know, or most people know by now, that AI uses a massive amount of power. And the amount of power and the amount of AI usage coming is exponential. Right, there's an energy crisis. We already had a failing grid, an unstable grid that was outdated. We have not updated, since the 70s. And this grid was already failing. Now we're adding this additional amount of energy demand, unlike anything that's ever been seen before in history. Nobody really has a solution yet on how to scale up the amount of power needed in the time that's needed, right? To build nuclear facilities or new coal plants or solar fields. Like, all this stuff takes a lot of time, a lot of bureaucracy, planning, engineering, right? We don't have time. AI is here and it's coming at a rate that most people just can't imagine. And there's nowhere for that power to come from. And what that's going to do, that is going to cause utility rates to rise drastically in a very short window. It's going to cause grid instability. If anybody kind of thinks of supply versus demand, that's the issue. We're going to have way more demand than we have supply. So that means either the price goes up to knock certain people out of the market, or the demand just is too much for the grid to handle, in which case, we're going to see a lot more of these grid instability issues moving forward. So if you're a homeowner out there wanting to do this yourself, maybe you get your hands dirty and you like to do some of these DIY projects, go ahead, down in the description below, click on our website there. It's going to bring you to rockybroadsolar.com. We've previously had this ultimate DIY guide. It's sort of a PDF that was downloadable. Well, I have been putting some work in on this thing, and this thing has just been reimagined and reconfigured completely. And this is just amazing what I've been able to do here. I think it could provide a lot of value to you DIYers out there to really choose the right equipment for your specific scenario, for your budget, and also give a lot of tips and tricks on how to get through that final inspection and just through the installation process in general. Hey, DIY is not for everybody. This stuff is difficult. It's expensive. It's complex. All the bureaucracy and the red tape and knowing what to buy, it takes time. If you're just looking to hire a professional to install your system, go ahead down in that description below. Check out our Rocky Broad Solar intake form. You just go in there. It's a quick little form. Fill out a few specific questions about your scenario, and I'll get back to you within a few days with a zero-cost, pressure-free quote. If this video helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe, press the notification bell, or leave a comment down in the description below. All of those things help the channel tremendously. Also, if you're trying to buy this inverter for yourself, go ahead down in that description below. We'll leave an affiliate link with a coupon code where you can stack this additional $50 off on top of any other sales going on at this time. Also, the EG4 12000XP, the price just reduced dramatically over the last week or two. I noticed it was traditionally, I think, around $2,400, $2,500. I think it's somewhere around the $1,800 or $1,900 range now. So if you stack my coupon code on top of that deal, you can really get a heck of a good deal on this inverter at the moment. Well, everyone, as always, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Till next time, take care.